The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Podcast. It is yet another edition of The Big Issue. And of course, as usual, I'm your regular host, George Jagba is my name. And of course, with me here in the studio is our in-house analyst, Silas Ezebu.
Welcome.
And Taka David.
Thank you.
Well, without taking much of your time, because it seems we are behind schedule, the big issue for the day is the Kaduna train attack and Niger's president's advice to Nigeria and the calls for the use of mercenary in tackling terrorists and bandits in the country. Well, since last week, after bandits were said to have attacked a train along the Abuja-Kaduna rail, a lot has been happening. Apart from the death casualties and those wounded, many were kidnapped. And of course, most prominent Nigerians were part of the people that were carted away by the daredevil bandits. We have the likes of the MD of the Bank of Agriculture still in captivity, still held by the criminals. And of course, feelers from the state is suggesting that even the Speaker of the Kaduna State House of Assembly was part of the manifest of that train. His name was on the list of passengers on that train. And up till now, he's said to be still missing because he has not been seen since then in the public. Well, why would he try to confirm that? Because his aide has said that the man traveled out of the country. And of course, feelers were hearing. He said, I think the last time he was called, he said that he was with the speaker as he was talking. So we cannot authoritatively confirm that. We'll get to know anyway. But so many things has happened after the attack. The governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, called for bombardment of the forest inhabited by terrorists, despite the human shield. And of course, he called for the use of mercenary. And El-Rufai's call is coming against the backdrop of the call by Niger Republic President Mohammed Bazoum, who said that African countries battling terrorists need to come up with new strategies for dealing with the challenges. Bazoum, who spoke in the State House last week when he visited President Muhammad Buhari, said the West African region is battling an increased level of security threat, especially in the wake of recent attack on the Abuja-Kaduna train. Well, not quite long, the Nigerian president made that call. Kaduna State governor came up with what would have looked like the strategy, one of the new strategies that might be adopted, the use of mercenaries. But the People's Democratic Party came up to say that the use of foreign mercenaries to tackle banditry will worsen the country's security challenges. PDP said it believes in the competence and capability of the armed forces of Nigeria to defend acts of terror in the country. And of course, reacting, the PDP accused El-Rufai of being a key player in the failure of leadership in Nigeria. He said APC governors publicly romance and empower terrorists by paying them billions of naira of public funds in various hurried, uncoordinated, and hazy negotiations. David Tucker, the whole thing here is funny. You can imagine where the whole country is going. El-Rufai, who hardly want to say anything that will be favorable, has come up to suggest that foreign mercenary is very necessary in tackling this terror group. But what is wrong about, sorry to cut you short, what is wrong about the use of mercenaries to deal with terrorists when the military has shown its incapacity? Because is it not good as long as they give them mercenary, that is, they give the mercenaries what we call rules of engagement to make sure that these criminal elements called terrorists, bandits, or what name are rooted out of the country once and for all.
I believe even if you bring mercenaries and you don't give them the will they will not succeed. I think what the military needs, I think they are kind of studying the body language of the government.
Okay.
I've interacted with persons who will tell me at times when they go for these operations, they turn the noses against themselves. Somebody will tell you, why are you killing my people? So you can imagine, this person is doing evil, but you feel because you are from the same ethnic, or maybe because of ethnicity or religion, you believe more, you forget that you're first of all human before any other thing, before religion.
So that if your brother is evil,
so
you are there, you must support him.
The military, they've been doing well in other countries. Why can't they do this one? It's one thing I think what Nigerians need to do is to ask the military, why are you finding it difficult to address this? Tell us your challenges. Let's bear our minds. Sometimes the military will tell you if they want to fight this thing, they will even, some of the people talking will go down. They know. But why can't they go against them? Because they are in a democratic situation. And then they feel any little thing, people will now start shouting.
Thank you very much, David. I think you made a very valid point. Yes, Silas. David Tucker is talking about the political will, and I tend to agree with him. Even there, on the war front, you see soldiers turning against themselves on just this notion that the people being killed are his own people from his own tribe.
A cleric said something about Christian soldiers killing the bandits. And nothing was done. If we had a government that was serious about this whole insurgency, there are people who are supposed to be behind bars or be answering questions.
You can imagine.
But we don't have such this. So how do you now expect the military to just
think
drive and start?
Silas, I agree with David Tucker here, because what he's actually saying points to one thing: the political will to actually root out these criminals once and for all in the country. Because now El-Rufai, that people would think will never say anything positive.
Was it not the same El-Rufai that paid herdsmen that were ravaging and killing Nigerians across the country?
The same El-Rufai.
Why did he pay them?
The same El-Rufai. Wait, Silas, sorry. The same El-Rufai that people will always see no good in what he says has once and for all said something good here. Because look at now the PDP that is making noise. Are they not aware that the former President Jonathan used mercenaries from South Africa? You know, the 2015 election.
Contract did not go anywhere.
The 2015 election was postponed, and then they now discovered that they had to use mercenaries. And then at the end of the day, I think it was reported that mercenaries were brought to actually contain those terrorists in the northeast before the election of the 2015 could go ahead. Yes,
that was the narrative that was
being bandied.
That actually missionaries helped to stabilize the political
space before the 2015 election.
That was the election. They even mentioned the name of the company and so on.
Yes.
And so forth. I don't know the details of that, but I remember that in the run-up to the election, the terrorists were dealt a very big blow, and some people were even aggressive in the northeast then that because of election, they have taken this battle seriously for the first time. They have not bothered to take this battle to them all this while, and they are killing them. Now, because of election, you want to make a point that you are winning. You now work and dismiss these terrorists so that and people find that sentiment helped to people to vote more against Jonathan, because he could have done this all this one. He didn't do it. Now because of election, you understand? So those tendencies are there. Alpha is not the first to call for missionaries. The man who was feeling the heat of the terrorism activities, Bruno's government, Professor Zoom, what a wonderful administrator he has been.
Thank you.
Also
called for the use of mercenaries.
Because he must have seen that there's something holding the army, the Air Force, and the Navy, and all the intelligence agencies from containing these guys, these terrorists. He must have seen that must have interacted with them so much and found that they had there's a handbrake somewhere. And I remember that even when Hillary Jika was chief of army staff, the army chief of defense staff then, when they went after them at that time, Now all who and crying that are killing our young boys and this and that. And it was trying to stop the terrorism from festering the way it has festered. And quickly they removed him from that post. And since then we are going down here. And I remember a former president aspirant, I think the current president, also so say they're killing my people. That kind of that kind of
embodying these guys.
So now if you are a commander in chief, be careful how you proceed, because you may step on some landmines because of the political will. Someone has mentioned that he has been telling them, okay, go and decimate the boy, carrying AK-47, blah blah blah. Well, you can say it in the public. We don't know what's happening behind, and there's the reason why I believe that these soldiers are well trained enough to contain this
the terrorists.
and these threats are even on our soil.
You
And
know,
they're going to
look at
they
the-
can hear
look
their
at the Super
discussion.
Tucano
They know
jets.
where they are.
As at,
do you know?
as
you know,
of
there
last
was
week,
something-
we heard that the Super Tucano jets were already bombarding the forest. All and I don't know whether it's
If they
Super
need to,
Tucano
so I
jets.
think there are 12 of them.
But
now,
the headlines
or
were
6.
that military
12.
bombs.
The 12 have been delivered now.
Yes.
Yes.
Even if they want to put them on that canal road to clear.
We don't need 12 of them. Even
I'm just saying,
Am I
if they
saying-
can
am
attack
I-
the
am I
airport,
lying, David? Even true Super Tucano jets can take care of the Kaduna Idol.
Unmanned area surveillance vehicles.
what are we doing with them?
And we have them many. not one.
So
And I'm not talking about the ones that they use.
there
the
needs to be
shooting
accountability.
movies. The real UAVs. The Air Force, they have them.
So
Good
so
UAVs
so
that
there
can
needs
stay
to be
in space
there
for
needs
more
to
than
be
10 hours.
accountability.
Can be in the air. Stiltly, we will not hear anything.
Thing. Even this Tucano, around they can be in the air and not be seen. I can be there for hours.
Of course.
And from there,
It's
do whatever I want to
This
do.
one is not that tilt compared to the UAVs.
Oh,
It may not that it.
the Super Tucano jet.
Yeah, Super Tucano, that one is not. When you're looking for an aircraft that is tilt, it's not Super Tucano. But you see, an UAV can come here quietly and rove over us here. We'll not even know.
No.
That's
You don't
for
know that-
gathering intelligence.
Yes, and the person controlling may be as far as not even Suleja.
Of course.
Can be in Kaduna and bring it down here
Yeah.
and see whatever we are doing and go back.
Well,
So even if you shoot it down, you have not killed the person. The only thing, the damage is lost is just the monetary aspect.
and
we have them. So
uh,
the thing is the government willing
To lose them.
for us to deploy those things and kill those guys? That's one question I cannot answer because most of the people speaking today, embodying those guys, helped embodying them. The same person coming outside to say, go and do this, at one point or the other, said, you're killing my people. These are my people. You should not do this, you should not do that. So now, the same mouth that said, whatever you're doing is wrong, had encouraged you to do this same thing. What is the assurance that of course?
thank you, David. David, we are see.
So all these people, whatever that is just
I think the main point
For
we
me,
have here,
it's
what
political.
David is saying here, what
they
David
are not
is saying
sincere. They are
here,
not being sincere.
what David is saying here still borders on the political will. El-Rufai also came out to say that the military know where these bandits are.
The SS.
And then
can even listen to their conversations.
Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi
So
said,
if all these people have failed to protect Nigerians, are we supposed to be saying all this is all say okay? They have failed, so we remove them.
Thank you,
new
David.
set of-
Excuse me. And El-Rufai said, the military knows where the bandits are, and they can go after them if they want to. Just the same pay at the same time, Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi said that he, on several occasions, his effort and bid to install some security and intelligence on these trains were thwarted at the Federal Executive Council meeting.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, the PDP now came out and said that what El-Rufai and Amechi said is a serious indictment on the Buhari government because it shows that something is wrong somewhere.
No,
Imagine-
see, let me tell you. When I became I was worried all this while I didn't time. But when I really became seriously worried was when he, at his swearing in, after his swearing in, he said, look, don't disturb me, talk to my SSG, to my HGF, my chief of staff. That was somebody who was to applicate his responsibility to his aides. For God's sake, Buhari is the commander in chief. The box stops at stable. But he's telling us that look, just talk to my chief of staff,
Yes.
and you don't disturb me. So that was somebody who was not ready to lead from the front, and we are fighting a war. I think the what they've not realized that we're fighting a big war, and this war is taking lives every day and making Nigeria look like, like we're not serious. If Nigeria seen as the giant of Africa, I deal with a ragtag team, gang that's holding us to ransom like this, that will bomb our airport, that attack airport, attack the rail, attack the road, all in 24 hours, and there's no response. We need to have seen like 200 of them arrested, surrounded, arrested, overnight. Nothing's happening. The government just went quietly and talking nonsense.
I was speaking to a soldier. The soldier said, after the Kaduna train attack, when I announced, said, why is this thing like? He said, I should not mind. They said, until the officers will tell them what is going on. He said their team, they were in the bush, they saw those guys, but the person leading the team refused them from engaging. I was like, why? Were they more than you people or what? I'm sure even if they are more than you people,
and
you
that confirms the report that even the NRC, Nigerian Railway Corporation, that they got alert on this planned attack, but they ignored.
Yeah, I read to the NRC chief executive, and he said they were getting those, but are they to stop what they are doing because some boys want to attack them? That is, the game is up to the military.
No, but when you get such a thing, you move it to the section that's supposed to handle those.
Of course,
he said that they're supposed to be rolling. Yes, I'm sure somebody is supposed to be in charge of the security
of that very rail.
No, according to the man, the one that gets such they pass it to appropriate quarters. It's up to those people to do their job. The one is to run the train, and if you stop running the train, you mean the terrorists have sustained in their mission to stop. Yes, what government want to use to benefit the people. So you're not pushing that blame.
Who is benefiting? This whole thing started with
the
Nigerian
from the rail.
It started with the Nigerian roads. It got to a point, all the people who are supposed to tell the government or ensure that the right thing is done, abandoned the roads and went to the rails. You understand? I felt that place is safe. You understand? So now, allow the average man, let's say the common man, the commoner, to ply the road and exposed to the dangers every day. And I'm glad this thing happened now. So we've seen that nowhere is safe. Unless we ensure that the least man in the society is safe. You are not safe wherever you are.
Thank you very much, David. Please, back to the mercenary issues. There are even people who recall that President Buhari did away with these Jonathan mercenaries. You remember that time? Yes. By cancelling contracts with the mercenaries, saying that the Nigerian military is capable. David, that back to you directly because you are directly involved in it. Now, has the Nigerian military shows it's capable with what we are seeing here? Because at the end of the day, in the fight,
my interaction with the soldiers, it's not the officers that fight. An average Nigerian soldier, that's why you see most of them dying are the younger ones, private, corporal, last corporal,
front line.
to sergeants. These are the fighters. And they will always tell, anytime I ask them, are you guys overwhelmed? They will say, we are not overwhelmed. Our command structure is overwhelmed. What that means is, where they are supposed to get the go-ahead to execute some of the operations, we don't get it. Sometimes you request for equipment, they don't give you. So what do you expect the person to do?
You can imagine. So that is really, because at the end of the day,
I interact with them a lot.
Now, people who are saying they should not use mercenary in fighting, what alternative are they bringing against the fight against terrorism? Because lives of citizens are at stake here.
I think we should hold the government accountable for every life that has been lost so far.
How are we going to do that?
That is the point, Silas.
The system we put in Nigeria, the executive is almost like an emperor executive.
That is why we need to change the system.
Yes. Nigeria will tell you that, you see, already we have a lame duck national assembly, but it's our job to quickly ease this government out of power. But we have a rubber stamp legislator that is ready to dance to the presidents. Even though they're complaining, they will shout. But I know when one person moved a motion for impeachment, he was shouted down. It's not that the argument he was making was not tenable, but because the judge had said that the government.
I believe as a legislator, you have equal rights as the president. So even if the president of the Senate shouts you down and you refuse to stand, you keep talking. Nigerians
we are talking.
And Nigerians will be by you.
We are talking.
Nigerians will not move the motion and vote. Because see, what we need
Well,
is
at
see,
least you will know
we are looking at the government running now in the next 1 year. That 1 year is a long time. If this kind of thing continues the next 1 year, nobody knows whether even elections will be able to.
Of course,
because if for a long time now we're talking about this terrorists coming near to Abuja, they have taken over Kaduna. The Niger have a base there. Some of us are working in Nassau and Co. So
they're spreading.
And are coming closer and closer.
Now we are paying more. We are paying attention to Kaduna. We are forgetting that we have other places where those guys are spreading to already.
Already, it's like Zamfara and Katsina already conquered territory.
And you now hear sometimes you hear some states in the southwest, they will tell you somebody was kidnapped. The person will come back and tell you it was Fulani that kidnapped the person. You'll be like, how? They
know they're in every forest. And they remember that because of drought and some of the cattle losses, some of them have gone into bandits because it pays quicker. Crime pays quicker, but it's deadly. It's every day for the
1 day for the other.
So some of them have seen that the drudgery of running cattle takes a long time to you can make money. So you can just pick somebody and you get millions. So that quickness of making money is what is driving some of them to hang on to this business because they are not being found out. So they need to flush out these guys from the forest. That is a job that the intelligence agencies, the security agencies, the army and the should work on. All these guys because every state, every village, even in my village, they are the bush there.
I don't think they are ready to.
Excuse me, David,
I remember.
Before you come, let me just complete. You see, you said something that's very important. And before I was going to ask you more about this because when we spoke about this idea of this military not being capable, you now came up to explain that it's not about the soldiers on the war front. It's about the military, how did you call it? Hierarchy, the command or the structure. The command structure.
Because you don't just go to war.
Because the main thing, the next question I was going to ask you.
The last command comes from the president. He's the commander in chief. Command to the CDS.
The next question I was going to ask you, David. The next question I was going to ask you again is what is the problem with Nigerian military that they cannot handle these bandits and terrorists? Because, for instance, look at this. Silas, remember this is a military that was said to have done very well in peacekeeping missions in outside the country, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and other. There was a time that there was a coup. About an attempted coup in Sierra Leone. Obasanjo just sat down here. I think the Sierra Leonean president was in Nigeria. Obasanjo, when they heard it that some people were trying to topple the man while he was on a visit to Nigeria, Obasanjo called there and warned them that if you don't leave that place, and to show that he was not joking, he sent Nigerian military down there.
Even the Gambian man.
Thank you.
Was it Nigeria that went and chased him out of the country when he refused to leave power after he got election?
You think you have it? You had the point when you said that.
We don't like a person.
I said it already. The things that are killing us here, until we do away with religion, ethnicity, some of those things that stop us from seeing ourselves as one. We can never win this war.
We those guys just as Nigerians first.
Yes.
Before Igbo, Hausa, Fulani.
So unless we do that, we're not ready because most of I was just with a GSS friend and he just told me he was in Maiduguri. That was around 2011 till 2014. He said at a point they will turn amongst themselves because insurgency then was within the Maiduguri town. So they needed to infiltrate those guys and start picking them within. It's at a point you'll be fighting, you'll be killing those guys, and your colleague will point gun at you and say, "What are you doing? You're killing my baby. Don't fire again. It's okay."
But I don't believe that this thing is just because naturally
he said it.
I know.
He told me confidence.
I'm not.
It's a long friend.
I'm not doubting you, David Taka. You see what you say there is very
not friend.
It's very apt.
So he visited, and we were just.
And that's why when the current president came on board and started appointing people from one area and one region, people started saying that this is not balanced. You have to have a broad view of things.
The division he has brought is even affecting the military. You know, the military is the only organization that you can step in now, and when they sit for anything, you'll be able to see Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, and even the minority ethnic groups. You will see them. It's only the military.
Well, you see,
that's where you can see when they sit for that. You can looking at them, you know that okay,
this is not
person. Hearing their names, okay, this person is from here. This one is from this one. Okay, you now see that it may not be balanced, but you don't necessarily have it need to be balanced. Like my brother in the military will always tell me, it is not. He said the blood, his own blood, with that of Hausa, Fulani, whatever, is the same. That it doesn't matter.
That is the point.
Now, when the chiefs are down, nobody looks at the tribe or anything. That he will need to give you his back to protect while he protects yours. If you like shoot him down, you won't be able to move out.
Yes, quickly because time is no more on our side. You see, Silas, one thing I want to point out here is that the thing is, it even goes beyond religion and ethnicity, because the president is a Muslim, and of course he is from the north. Curiously, at the weekend also, a chief imam of an Abuja mosque was suspended for criticizing the Buhari government for not doing enough. You understand? Then one would now wonder that if it was a Christian pastor, a cleric in the Christendom that did that, and criticizing, they will now say it's pure religion and the rest. But we're talking of a Muslim imam here who criticized the Buhari government and said the government was not doing enough. And now elections are here. They are now coming to talk. In short, they are more bothered about 2023 than the insecurity in the country. Before you know, the man was suspended.
But he didn't say something people are not saying.
He would have thought from within religion line or anything. He was just being asked because that man is the same faith with the president.
We have the Christian clerics standing at the pulpit to criticize Christian leaders.
Thank you.
We have it. As an individual, we do it a lot.
We
criticize without thinking whether you're from the same
Muslim or you are
same
from the
church with me. I don't care.
Do your work. See, we need to see
as I am. I don't care.
We don't have accountability. When I say accountability, it's not just about financial accountability. Accountability for duty done and not done. If your job is to secure the space, to not secure it, why not securing it? How are you going to be held accountable for not complaining? I was telling someone that when Banga was head of state and her name was disturbing Nigerians, at the Alpha during council meeting, the chief of police came what's name again? And by asking where's Anini? Across the table. The man was fidgeting, you can't find me Anini. And the man left from that meeting and went down to Edo State, then down to Bende State at that time. I didn't know that place until that man was caught. That's accountability. But you see the Minister of Finance of Defense telling you that you should go and defend yourself. The Minister of Defense telling you to go and defend yourself.
Governor say go and defend yourself.
And they are not ready to
when is it that kind of statement?
A state government has lost confidence in the military and say, "Come, I think we need foreign mercenaries."
That kind of thing should get you fired immediately.
When you're in a serious cabinet.
But you have a system where the president.
But he was speaking the mind of the president. So.
Well.
That's why I left him there.
I think that is the much we can take.
It's terrible.
For the big issue,
we can't continue like this.
The attacks are becoming increasing, and of course, a lot is still unfolding on the Kaduna train attack, and of course, from the highway where the terrorists actually now turned to, and some of the bombs that were defused in Kaduna, and most of the killings we have witnessed of recent. Well, as the event unfolds, we will always keep a tab on things and how they ought to be. I will thank our in-house analysts for addressing the big issue the way it should be. And of course, I will not fail to thank you, our viewers, for keeping tab with us. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of this program. Do have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.